go, the Spinners, yeah. Hey, I got my guest here right now, the second part of the show, and this guy does a cool radio show out of Bordentown, New Jersey, and Rock On Radio, which is aired every Sunday night live on a few different stations, but on our station too, on NewJerseyCool98.com. And he has some pretty cool guests. I'm telling you, he knows where to find those bands. And he's here right now, Danny Coleman. All right, Danny.
Hey, Tommy, how are you, buddy?
I am good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well.
Oh, that's good. I
Doing
see
very
you
well.
texting away there.
I'm just putting you on Facebook right now.
Oh, Danny's put me on Facebook.
There you go. Then I'm with you. I'm publicizing. I'm working it.
We got it now.
There you go.
That's how we're going to stay in business.
Correct.
All right. You've been doing this for a little while now?
Yeah, not well. Yeah, a little while. I guess you could classify it.
Yeah.
A little more than 3 years.
3 years. Yeah, okay, and you must have, well, you did have a lot of, I listened to the show quite a few times before I aired it.
Well, thank you.
And it's a lot of great groups that you had coming through, local artists, indie artists, you know, from New Jersey, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And how do you find them? Do they come to you, or?
They do now. I'm very fortunate that way for the most part. I've been booked as far as 6 months in advance. I had to kind of cut it back. I'm down to about 3 months in advance now. As I found 6 months, you know, bands tend to break up, solo artists tend to get booked or start a tour or just forget.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but I've been very fortunate where I have people contacting me now. The first several months, I was surprised at how short a time it took. The first several months, I was, you know, pretty much, you know, begging people. Will you come on my radio show? I got this radio show and I want you to come on, and you know, threw the concept out there. And then word kind of got around, and I'd say probably 3 to 5 months in, people started calling me. And I've been very fortunate that way. And you know, I can't thank all of them enough.
And it's a wonderful thing that you do with the local artists, the indie artists, and like I said, they play live. It's a dynamite show. It's a real good show and very entertaining, you know. And sometimes it gets a little comical. I like that, a little humor. You gotta have humor, you know, just to sit there and you know. And your show has it, you know.
Yeah, well, I was very fortunate. My original co-host is pretty much was pretty much a cut up, my good old buddy BC, and you know, he pursued some other avenues, and so now I have my nephew actually is my co-host, and if not my nephew, there's a couple other guys. A fellow named Kevin Toft, another guy named Mike Matissa, sometimes Astronaut Jones, who plays around
Astronaut Jones, yes.
My man Tony, he comes in and then he sits in with me. I kind of go on like a rotating co-host basis.
That's cool.
But I'm blessed there too as well. My photographer, Joe Powell,
yeah.
JC Powell Photography, he is the kind of guy who off mic, if I could mic him up with a wireless portable mic, some of the stuff that he comes out with off microphone, he's quite funny. He adds that, and of course my engineer Art, you know, he's the elder statesman, I should say, of the group. But Art takes a lot of good-natured ribbing from us, big time. Because when he first started as my engineer, he was kind of new to the business, and very first night he was on the program, Art, I had a band on from Ambler, Pennsylvania, a band that I've actually done some work with, named After Q. Well, they have a very, you know, avid fan of theirs, lives up in Canada. She called the program 4 times to try and talk to the band, and Art hung up on her all 4 times. Accidentally, you know, because he was still working the phones.
Right.
And, you know, to this day, we rib him about that. And that was 3 years later, and he just smiles and laughs it off. He's really got a good sense of humor about everything.
Do you think terrestrial radio will ever jump on board, you know, like the mainstream stations on the indie artists? Do you think, like you do and I do you think they'll like, you know, like go away from the top 40 and?
Well, terrestrial radio, I was speaking with somebody who who's still involved in terrestrial radio, and she does some stuff for Fox News radio, and she used to be down on New Jersey 101.5. was talking with her the other day, and she said to me, she said, I equate terrestrial radio these days to like being a candle maker when electricity was invented.
Wow.
There will always be a need for it. It
Yes.
just depends on how much. So, you know, with terrestrial radio, I mean, it's great because, you know, your voice is out there. And it kind of gives legitimacy to a lot of things in
Right.
certain ways. And it also causes you to kind of, but it can also be kind of what's the word I'm looking for, not defining, like kind of box you in a little bit.
Right.
Because, you know, there are certain rules you have to follow because you're governed by the FCC.
Yes.
You know. And as long as the advertising revenue is there, there will always be terrestrial radio.
Right.
Now, whether or not advertisers are going to want to put out money for, because something you said in your interview earlier today, I wanted to bring up actually, and this is probably a good time to do, is I listened to, who'd you have on this afternoon?
Sonny and
Sonny and Melanie. Right?
Yes.
And they're very good,
Yes.
actually. And you had said something to them. They were talking about a segment about playing cover material.
Right.
And I believe what you said to them, and this is, you know, I'll paraphrase it, was, I tell all the young artists I talk to that if you can't do originals, you gotta do covers and throw some originals in. And I thought to myself, oh, I'm gonna hit Tommy on that tonight, because I beg to differ on that point,
Right.
you know? Yeah, it's just, people want to see results for their money.
Right.
And will it be a mainstream indie station? I'm sure they're already out there on terrestrial radio.
Right.
A lot of right now it's mostly college.
Colleges,
you know,
yeah.
FM stations.
And your
college,
station.
well, you have to understand about my station. Rock On Radio was my brainchild out of necessity, somewhat.
Right.
I was I was a UPS driver for 20 years. Never been hurt, never had an injury, until I woke up one morning in January of '09 and didn't feel right, tried to walk out of my house and collapsed.
Wow.
I had, 4 herniated discs, I had blood in my spine, I had a whole bunch of stuff,
Right.
courtesy of 20 years of lifting, lowering, walking, and I mean, my back just wore out. It wasn't like I had hurt it somewhere and I just gave out. And faced with the reality that I may never be able to do that job again, I began looking for other jobs. And one of the things I came across was this ad that said radio show hosts / ideas wanted. Now, out of high school, I went to a local broadcasting school in Trenton. Small, there were 2 guys that used to be on WBUD, I guess it was, out of Trenton, or what was it? WTTN.
Yeah, WTTN.
Bill Allen and Phil Singer. Or Phil Allen and Bill Singer, that's what it was. And they had started their own broadcasting school. And we got a legitimate, certificate class. And I went there for radio. Well, back when I went, it was still, you dealt with pots. You
Yeah,
turned
right.
knobs and dials, and there were 8-track carts that you stuck in a
Exactly.
machine, and they had turntables with 45s and 33 RPM. And I thought, you know what? Radio show ideas, I want it. Now, bear with me here, this might be a little long, but when I was a 16-year-old kid, I was in a band. 15, well, actually I joined when I was just about 14. First band I was ever in. We were in high school. And we did very well. We may not have been the best band musically, but we did very well. We always had people turn out to our show. We had a lot of support. And we entered WPST at the time, had a contest, the Unsigned Heroes contest. And we won, I think, 2 out of the first 3. I went into the recording studio when I was 15. And I was at a local church carnival. And I knew they were going to announce the winner at some point that night, but I was just hanging out with my buds. Next thing I know, people are elbowing me. Hey, listen, that's you guys on the radio. You won. And I remember the thrill. I got chills hearing myself on the radio, hearing my songs, the music that I made and recorded was on the radio. We won.
Right.
And I tied that all together when I hurt my back to come up with the idea of Rock On Radio. I thought, if that gave me such a thrill, there's got to be other bands in this world that want to hear their stuff on the radio.
Exactly.
So, hence that's how Rock On Radio began. Now, what I do is brokered radio. I have to rent my airtime. I own the show, I created the show. All I do is give WIFI radio a check.
Right.
In order to offset the cost, I get sponsors, and as you hear.
Exactly.
That I read. I'm looking for sponsors. Anybody wants a sponsor, hit me up. Rock on Radio.
Rock on Radio. Danny's looking for sponsors.
Yeah, hit me up, email, Facebook, Danny Coleman.
You get a free case of soda.
I got soda. Now, see, fortunately, one of my sponsors is a local Canada driver.
Exactly, that was cool.
So that, that all works out really well.
Yeah.
But I created the show to give bands the idea, or to give them an hour.
Right.
You've heard of 15 Minutes of Fame. Not that I'm going to make them famous, but that's their hour to be on the radio. That's their hour to tell us about them. And I designed the show. I can tell you right now, I do very little research for my program.
Right.
I go to their website or their Facebook page, jot down a couple things, and that's it. Literally, no more than 3 or 4 things.
Right.
And because I want the conversation to be pretty much like the one you and I are having right now.
Exactly, yeah.
This way you get to know, there's a lot of bands out there that are great, but some of the guys in the band or the women that are in the band, you don't really get to know. They could be the biggest jerks on the planet, or they could be the sweetest people on, around. I want people to understand, who they are, what they are, a little bit about the artist, why they write the songs the way they write them, why, and you can't really do that with cover bands.
Right.
That's why, like, I spent my whole life pretty much playing in cover bands, and I still do.
Well,
from time to time.
Well, what I meant when I said that, it was like, it wasn't meant to be like negative. It meant to be like, a lot of people, like, they want to play at like local clubs and stuff, and still that original material is like, there's not really that many clubs in the, it's, here and there, okay? I mean, Asbury Park has a lot of them where you can go and belt out your original stuff. That's cool. But if you want to go play something like, the local where people want to dance and stuff, and if you want to make a, that you got to know covers. Never put down the cover band, because the Beatles in general were a cover band. That's what I was saying.
Which is exactly right. I heard you say that.
Exactly. They played a lot of covers. The Rolling Stones, a lot. They covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Some of the best groups right here in the state of New Jersey was a cover, cover band.
And you can make a tons
of
money as a musician being in a cover, especially being in a good cover.
But if you write a song, I mean, belt it out. I love the indie artists, because even the bands back then, they were indie artists. They had, they wrote their own stuff and became famous. They were in Bon Jovi, own material, Richie Zambora and them, they collaborated, and, they wrote their own material, and they do a few covers.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody, even people who made it huge today, still do covers.
But I was trying to say, if they want to be a working band, as working a dance band, go to like places like the Headliner or something, do some covers and throw your stuff in. Some of the best do that. There's fantastic artists right here in the state of New Jersey, indie artists, local talent.
See, I've kind of been spoiled, because I play with several artists, like Zara tonight. She goes out and she does 2 and 3 hour band gigs.
Right.
And most of the things that we do are showcase sets.
Right.
3 songs on an open mic, half-hour set, 45-minute set, like at the Film One Festival in the Highlands last week. We were right there, and she fills it up.
Yes.
90% original music, and people aren't walking away.
Right.
And there's another artist that I play with, a young lady named Kim Yarson, and Kim's got 2 CDs out. She's a prolific writer, and if she does 40 songs in a night when we do bar gigs, if she does 40, 30 of them are originals. And people, again, aren't walking away for the most part. They're hanging out and staying. And if you market your originals correctly, covers can be just a nice addition.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
I have nothing against cover bands. They'll make you a ton of money.
Exactly.
I've been spoiled because I've been lucky enough to play with women like Zara and Kim, and I've done work with a guy I mentioned earlier, Mike Matissa, and I also do percussion work for Kevin Toft, and I've done jobs with Astronaut Jones, and you know, they're out there, they're trying to, I think it was Scott Stamper said it at the
Right.
Asbury Music Awards this past year. He said, you know, these people are writing the cover tunes of tomorrow.
Exactly, I said the same thing too.
Right.
They're writing the cover
Yeah.
tunes of tomorrow.
And you have to, I really stress supporting original artists.
Oh, definitely, I do too.
I mean, I have, and literally, I really don't, I have no agenda on rock on radio. I'm not, you know, I'm not gonna, I mean, I'd love to make it rich and famous. But, you know, but who wouldn't? But, you know, for me, it's just to help promote a younger, like Alex, you were talking about Alexandra English.
Yes.
Or Inglis.
Yes.
Earlier today. She's been on my program. To see a young kid like that, 15 years old or whatever she was when she first came on my show,
Yeah.
you know, to see her mature. I had Sophia Nicole, another great young artist, on just a couple weeks ago.
Right.
You know, then I'm able to sit down with a guy like Bob Berger 2 weeks ago, and it was just, you know.
That was awesome, that
Mhm.
was awesome.
And I've had young artists, I've had old, I've had artists as young as 13, 2 days after her 12th birthday.
Right.
This girl come on my program, and then I've had Nancy Ryan, you know, who's been around, you know,
Yeah.
for a long time, and I've had artists from all over the place come to be on my program, and I consider myself, Tom, I consider myself very fortunate.
You are. You
Yeah.
do an excellent show, a dynamite show. I love it. You know, I love the humor on your show. You know, and you making the people comfortable so they do open up. You know.
That's the goal of the program.
Exactly.
Play your
You know?
music, you know, they do 3 to 6 songs,
Yep.
you know, live, and for me, I give the guests the option. It's all their option. I always talk to my guests the week before so I can begin to promote their appearance and, you know, give them directions, because the radio station's not easy to find. You actually make more turns in the parking lot than you do to get to the radio station, but the beauty of it is I give them the option. You could play live, you could play off your CD, you could bring all your CDs. If you have multiple CDs, we'll play tracks off whichever one you want. You can play whatever's going to paint you in the best light as an artist. That's it. That's what I want to do with the program. You know, I want to make the people comfortable. I want people to get to know, let's say you were a band, Rockin' Tommy was a band.
Whoa.
I want people to get to know you
Right.
on somewhat personal level. You know, I don't ask any personal questions.
Yes.
But I want people to know, you know what, hey, he ain't a bad guy. I'll go check him out. He's playing down here next week.
Exactly.
And I hope to build their fan base and sell some CDs for them. And, you know,
Even if you sell 2, you sold. You know, and it's just an all-around cool show you have. I love it.
no,
You know,
thank
it's
you very
great.
much. I appreciate
You
it.
know, and yeah, I like the way you promote the the artist. You know.
I try. That's what I try to do.
Yeah.
It warms my heart to do that.
It does.
I've been
Warms
very
my-
lucky too to have a good staff of people, like I said earlier, Art and Joe Powell.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing it because they have the same goal in mind.
Exactly. Yeah. Matter of fact, my listeners are gonna kick me off the air. They, oh, rock on radio, yeah. It's cool. But it's all good, you know. It's all good. We're doing you're doing a wonderful thing, and I hope I am doing a wonderful thing too. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a cool thing.
Very
And
nice.
you know, the outlet's there for all the local talent. You know, if they just gotta grab it if they want it. You know, I mean.
You know, it's kind of funny because a couple of years ago I was asked to be a presenter at the Jam Awards, the Jersey Acoustic Musician Awards. And I was kind of taken aback because, you know, WIFI radio is located in Florence,
Right.
Burlington County, so which is a pretty good haul from, you know, Asbury Park. And,
Right.
you know, you're talking about a 45-minute to an hour ride to get to this radio show.
Yeah.
Yet I've been able to create such a strong connection with this community up here. And they're a very accepting bunch. They really are. I mean, I love them to death. There've only been, you know, I can count the number of people on one hand and have plenty of fingers left over that, you know, are less than stellar.
Right.
You know, everybody is just accepting and warm and you know, I played with so many different people, and I've had so many talented people on my program from the Jersey Shore area. You know, Asbury Park, Long Branch, Wall Township, Brick Township. Who else has come down? Red Bank. Trying to think of who else. Belmar, Point Pleasant. You know, people from all these different areas have been on my show. I've had people drive down from Albany, New York, and drive back in the same day.
Awesome.
I had a kid come up from Baltimore. People come from as far west as Harrisburg. You know,
That is totally awesome.
it's just been, I feel very fortunate.
Yeah, Montclair, I'm saying, wow, Montclair, that was cool to meet tonight, you know,
Oh,
coming
yeah.
all the way from Montclair. You know, that's totally awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
And you're coming all the way from, what, Bordentown?
Bordentown.
Yeah, it's still a distance.
Down around Trenton, yeah.
Yeah, it's still a distance. And I'll come to your show also.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime.
Yeah. Give away that soda.
Yeah, I've got soda in the car. It's courtesy of my good buddy.
Ooh, So it's pretty cool. I mean, internet radio was, you know, pretty much pirate radio, but you know they came down on everything. We got to pay royalties now, and it's only fair, you know, that royalties go if they go. But you know, all I know is I pay them, you know, every month. You know, it goes to whoever it goes to, and it's cool, you know, because they're well deserving, from the indie artists that's with ASCAP to Bon Jovi, yeah, as if he needs it. But anyway, it's a wonderful thing. So, give me name some artists, memorable artists that you had on the show, local talent. You know that you know.
Local talent?
Yeah, local talent.
Well, oh gosh, who have I had on my program? Melissa Chill, Bob Berger just a couple of weeks ago, Keith Minaccio.
Ah, yeah, Keith is like, forget about it.
Keith's actually from my area. He grew
Yeah,
up not too
yeah.
far from me. Keith Minaccio, Shelley Arden.
That's another one, Shelley Arden. You know, you mentioned her name. Like, she's got an awesome CD, Kansas. That's a awesome writer and performer.
Yep. Who else? Kim Yarson, Lisa Bouchel. Gosh. Oh God, there's so many. If I had my book with me, I could read them all.
Oh, yeah, so many.
Mike Matissa, Dino Colaraco, Kevin Toft. Oh gosh, who else?
You have Mark Ribbler on there yet?
No.
You'll get him on there, right?
Nope. And I've never had Mark Ribbler. I've had some great phone calls. I've had people like Michael Tierson from WMMR Philadelphia. He's been playing in bands for years. He's had, which he's mostly a radio DJ. I've had John Oates from Hall & Oates has called my program.
Cool.
Benny Mardones. You know the song, oh God, who is it? Into the Night.
Into the Night, yeah.
Benny Mardones.
Yeah.
He's called my program a couple of times. I've been fortunate enough to interview people like John Sebastian, Peter Tork,
Yeah.
John Ford Coley,
Coley,
just
yeah,
very,
John,
just
awesome.
very recently.
Yeah.
Um,
Were you there at the record?
No, for that show, no, I had a wedding to attend that evening.
I was there.
I-
Awesome.
I interviewed him the night before that, actually.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
He was a very good guy. John, very good guy to talk to. Just trying to, Graham Parker.
Hmm.
You know, I've been very fortunate to have these people call my show or to have me interview them. And, you know, I've had a stand-up comic on my program.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope. I've done actually a couple of shows with a couple stand-up comics. I've got an author coming on my program.
Cool.
In October. I met with her last night. Very interesting person. Karen Victoria Smith wrote a book called Dark Dealings.
Oh.
She'll be coming on. I try to change it up here and there,
Yeah.
but I always make sure I feature music, even when it's not a musical
Exactly,
thing.
yeah.
I had a couple of indie movie actresses come on, and they brought the soundtrack to their film.
Oh,
and
that's
allowed me
cool.
to play it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah. Give it a little bit of different, you know, variety. You know, that's cool. But anyway, let me tell everybody what they're listening to. They're listening to NewJerseyCool98.com in the living room live with Rock and Tommy, and I have Danny Coleman, who you can hear right here on our station every Sunday night live from 10 until whenever. You know, you don't have a set time where you go off, so, but that's cool.
I'm supposed to be done at 11. but
Yeah,
I
but
take
you
some
know what,
liberties.
that's crazy, you know, that's craziness, you know. So, and he has an awesome show featuring a lot of the local talent, and you gotta tune in either through your way or through our way right here on the Jersey Cool. There's many ways to tune in to your show, right? You're affiliated with a lot of stations.
I have 4 that carry me live, 3 in the U.S., of which you know, NJ Cool 98 is one, and I have one in Dublin, Ireland that carries me live, and I have, of course, WIFI 1460 or AM 1460.com, and I have a station down in Florida, IRN Broadcast.
Very good.
That
I
carries
like
me
it.
live.
It's good. Live is good. I love live.
And you know, I've also, before you know it gets, I forget about it. Actually, I want to thank. There's a lot of people who have supported me in this over the years. Who I would be like nowhere without. You know, I had luckily the support of my girlfriend at the time. You know, she was extremely supportive of starting this whole project. My first co-host, BC, people like Gary Ween at the Penguin. Gary's, you know, been a big supporter of this program. And, you know, friends, family, the bands, you know, so many musicians have helped me out with this. Cook, who was here tonight, Cook Smith,
Right.
you know, if I ever have a guest back out on me, he's the first one I reach out to. You got anybody? Because he's just, you know, I don't live around here. I spend a lot of time in
Yes.
the Jersey Shore area, but, you know, I'm not as connected to it as I would like to be because of, you know, where I live. But,
Right.
so I always call him to see who's this and who's that. People like you, Tommy,
Yeah.
who have taken on my show and take, you know, all my affiliates. I can't thank them enough for re-airing my program for me during the week. You know, it's been very good.
You know what's good about our shows, and I like them, it's like, you know, personal. You get to know the musicians that they're playing, that they're hearing, you know, even if it's one, a night or two or something, you get to know them personally, what makes them tick a little bit of their background, what inspired them, and that's a wonderful thing, and not just listening to music, you know, nonstop, so.
And that's how I designed my show. I wanted to design my show, like, because so many times I go places, backyard barbecue, party, you know, somebody's kid's communion, something, and well, you're a musician? Yeah, so am I. Well, what do you play? Yeah, where do you play? Oh, do you know that? Do you know? And you would not believe how small the world really is.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's how I designed the show. I wanted it just to be a laid back, you know what, hey, I know you. Yeah, you know that guy, so do I. You know her, so do I. And, you know, and then, well, where have you played? What do you do? What influences you? What, you know, what's your songwriting technique? What kind of equipment do you play? What, you know, and then taking the emails and the questions and the phone calls from the listeners is just great. And I want to thank them to everybody who listens to my programs, I mean, whether it's on your station or any of my
And that's
affiliates.
awesome, the you know, the channels you have open that people can call in, and you man the chat room,
Right.
Facebook, I guess, it's
My
not an
Facebook
easy
page.
task, you know?
Yep, all at once.
All at once, right? You go crazy.
Although Art, my engineer Art, good old Art, he deals with the phones. I deal with the AsburyChat.com that Gary Ween set up.
Facebook,
I
yeah,
deal with Facebook and the email.
yeah, so,
There used to be another affiliate that carried me live, and honestly I don't know what happened, but I don't know, he was having some trouble. I don't know if he lost his internet thing or not, but
yeah,
I used to handle 4 ones, which was fun, because 2 were real active and another one was, you know. It depends on where everybody listens, you know.
exactly.
And to that list of thank yous, I can't forget my buddy Hooch, you know, from our local Canada Dry
Yeah.
Hooch. And my sponsors, Pedal Pushers and Economy Bike, they've been with me from day one,
That's cool.
from the
That's
very
awesome.
first show, and if it wasn't for them, I'd be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah,
You know.
that's awesome. That's totally awesome. Well, I'm glad to air your show. You're a dynamite person, and finally
Thank you.
get to meet Danny Coleman. Yeah.
Woo!
Woo! I like that. That's cool. You know.
Oh yeah.
You got everybody saying that right now.
Yeah, pretty much. Even my guests start to jump in now, that's good. He goes places with me sometimes, I'm like, this is Oj, and people look at him and go,
Yeah. So maybe I'll stop down one Sunday and just,
You're welcome.
just check it out, And been a long time since I've been in a radio studio, so, but it's cool.
It's kind of funny because my guests, and it's really, the funny part about this is you really need directions. A GPS will not get you there to the station.
My whole life is direction.
It'll either take you off the wrong ramp,
Yeah.
off 295, or it'll take you to a different section of the road that the station's on.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny because I tell these guests to call me and they say, I got a GPS. Look, you really need to take directions or it'll get you lost. All right, give me directions. All right, I got it, no problem. And I know they didn't write a thing down. 10 minutes to 10, I'm getting a phone call. Oh, we're lost. GPS told me to go. I was like, you know what? Good luck. I want to say, aha, I told you. And I've actually done that. I told you the GPS will get you lost. Did you think I was kidding?
They put radio stations in the weirdest spots. On top of buildings and rooms.
There's a cornfield down one side, and it's actually in a church compound. I mean, compound.
Huh.
There's a massive church and a massive school and a massive grammar school and a huge all-purpose gymnasium, auditorium, and this campus has to encompass probably, I don't even know how much acreage, but.
And you're nestled right in there?
And we're up above the high school.
Oh, wow.
That's where the station's located.
All right. That's pretty cool.
So.
Yeah, I've seen some stations in the weirdest spots, but it is what it is, You're on the air, right?
Correct.
That's it, you're on the air. Anyway, I want to thank you for coming.
Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you for letting me stay and talk about myself.
You want to sing a song?
Yeah, what do you want to hear?
So you want to sing? Yeah, so on. We'll sing it together. What do you think?
Far away.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to thank my special guest, Danny Coleman, for stopping by. And you can hear him live every Sunday evening right here on the JerseyCool98.com, 10 p.m. Yeah, so tune in and make a call in. This is a good group called